for right now, we are joined by Jerald James, a defensive end from Florida. He was one of the first today to commit to JMU, and now he's part of this 2025 class that's coming together pretty well. Jerald, how are you doing on this Wednesday?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you. So we'll start with the very obvious question of why JMU? You obviously had an impressive list of offers. What was it about JMU that stood out to you?
Well, JMU was the first to get me on the OV, and it was the first week of official visits, so that really stood out to me. Then when I got there, it was like it just felt like home. Like I felt all the love from everybody on the staff and stuff like that. And then when I was hanging out with the players, they just felt like teammates. Like I was cool with a lot of them. Some of them from Florida too. So we had like a little natural bond. And then their scheme and what they saw for me in the future, like, is exactly what I wanted. So it just felt like I should be there. And Coach Bob Chesney, like, a really good coach, a really good person. And
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is a team, JMU. They've kind of had some defensive ends that have had some success. Jalen Green was on pace to have, I think, 20 sacks last year. You've had Jamry Croma, another guy who is trying to make it into the NFL, has had some camp tryouts and things of that sort. How do you see your game fitting into JMU's defensive line, and how did the coaches kind of not sell you on it, but bring that vision to life almost?
all right, what do you mean? How did they sell me on it?
Like, so you said that the plan they have for you going down the road is something that you really enjoyed. Do you see yourself as a defensive end that's going to get a bunch of sacks, a bunch of TFLs, and be that kind of big number guy? Kind of, how do they slot you into this defense? How do you see yourself fitting in?
Oh, they have me as if when I do end up going there, like I would be more of a pass rusher defensive end. I would be there on all four downs. Just that I'll mainly be on the side to like pass rush. I'll be on probably like their mainly like the boundary side, like closer to our sideline, and I'll just be pass rushing mainly and setting the edge, stuff like that. Mainly like how Jalen Green was for them last year, like that kind of.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Is that what you like to do? You mentioned the scheme sort of standing out to you. I know Florida's got crazy high-level high school football. Is that something you've enjoyed, rushing the passer and going up against some of the better offensive tackles in the state?
Yes, I love
it. What is it about that specific thing? Is it just getting home to the quarterback? Is it the actual battle with the tackle? Is it all of that? I guess, what do you love about rushing the passer?
What I love about rushing the passer is like it's like chess almost. Like when you're going against a tackle, like you're like playing mind games with them. Like you set them up. Like say you do first. Like me, I'm like a speed guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like say first play of the game, like first passing down the game, like I'll go speed, and then I'll just keep going speed for like a couple of drives. Then out of nowhere, I go speed to power. Mm-hmm. Then sees I can make power off my speed. So like fourth quarter, when it's time like to really go get the quarterback, I'll go speed and then I'll go around him. Then it's just the quarterback is right there, and the thrill of getting the actual sack is just something that there's no other feeling like that.
I can only imagine what that's like. How would you describe your game? Do you model it after anyone currently in the NFL? Did you grow up watching anyone? How would you describe your game?
I'll describe my game. I'll say like a mix of Michael Parsons and Von Miller. Like Michael
Those
Parsons
are two nice names.
And then Von Miller is like technique and stuff like that, and how he goes about pass rushing.
I'd love to ask defensive linemen. We've had a couple on transfers and recruits and things about sort of their style. And you mentioned the mental games. Are you a trash talker? Or are you sort of a silent guy? I know some guys are kind of both, where if they're beating the tackle, they like to let them know, and other guys are just sort of silent the whole game and getting their work in. What do you prefer?
I'm more silent till somebody starts trash talking me, then I'll let them know.
That's a solid strategy.
That makes a ton of sense. I think I'd be the same way if I was capable of rushing a passer. Was there any game or throughout your high school career? I know you still got some time left, but has there been a game for you that stands out? And if it did stand out, what was it about that game that made it so special to you?
Trying to think back.
No, I mainly ask this so that when we're putting together some highlight packages, I know exactly where to go in your huddle to find it, because that makes the process a whole lot easier.
I would say probably the game against Somerset. That was probably my best game because I was basically showcasing like all of my abilities, like my hard hitting, my speed, my underrated power. I was basically showing everything, my length, everything. So I'll say that game against Somerset. That was last year, my junior year, yeah.
Awesome. I think you had, if I'm not mistaken, your stats. I think you had like 20 plus tackles for loss this last year, and I think multiple forced fumbles. Is that something that you've sort of been coached on, the forced fumbles? Are they strip sacks? Are you getting a running back to fumble? I guess, what are you doing to create so many forced fumbles from the defensive end spot?
It was, I think, 5 forced fumbles, and they're
Okay.
like off the running back, like just stripping the ball or just hitting him pretty hard and he just drops the ball.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense. My last question for you is, you had offers from Maryland, SMU, West Virginia, Liberty, some big names in that list. What was it that Anthony DeMichael, Bob Chesney, the whole recruiting staff, what was it about JMU that drew you to the Dukes over some of these other schools that you had some pretty prolific offers from?
What drew me was like from those other schools, it was mainly like the position coach that was like really like on me, but like at JMU, like it was like everybody there, like before I could even introduce myself, people were already like saying my name to me and stuff like that. It wasn't like at many schools. So, and that was when I first walked in too. So
That's awesome.
That was really
That's
cool.
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, take us through that visit a little bit. I guess what's sort of the routine for you? How many days were you there? What did you do? I guess touring facilities and things like that. But what was that process like, and what did you enjoy about it?
So we got there about like I'll say like 7:00 p.m. On Friday. We went out to dinner, and that was when I met my host for the first time. And then my host was Terry Lockett. He just transferred in from Syracuse.
Yeah.
So that was when I met him for the first time. I sat and talked with Coach Sam Daniels for a little bit. And him and my dad got to talk it out a little bit. Met some of the other recruits. Then me and my host went out. Well, me and my host and some other guys went out for a night. Then the next morning we had breakfast. We had a tour. And then I'm trying to remember. Then we took pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did position meetings. I was talking with Coach Sam about like how I would fit into the defense and stuff like that. And then I was talking with Coach Hemp about like what he expects, like if I were to come, what he expects for me to contribute to the team. Then later that day, I talked with Coach Chesney, and he basically sold me on why JMU is the right place, because he was like saying like everything that I needed to hear from the school. Like he was saying like how I'd be able to get on the field, like with my skill set, with my ability, how I'd be able to get on the field as a true freshman, and how if I ball out here, like I would be able to play anywhere because JMU has the competition plays at a high level and stuff like that. And that he was like, my dad really liked him too, because like you really seen him as like a really trustworthy guy, a really good person. So he really convinced me that JMU was the right place. And then after that, I went out again with the host, and then we were just chilling for the night. And then later that morning, well, not later that morning, the next morning, we had breakfast, talked a little bit more, and then that was the end of the visit.
That's awesome. That is
That's a whirlwind.
Yeah, that's a lot to happen in a few days. But we appreciate you, Jerald, for taking the time out on your Wednesday night, talking with us a little about JMU football. Good luck. Your final high school year. Good luck with JMU. We're excited to see you suit up and put on the purple and gold.
Thank you.